Someday, when I'm awfully low and the world is cold, I will feel a glow just thinking of you and the way you look tonight. With each word, your tenderness grows, tearing my fears apart. And that laugh wrinkles your nose, touches my foolish heart. Lovely, never change. Keep that breathless charm. Won't you please arrange it? 'Cause I love you just the way you look tonight. Just the way you look tonight. I missed it. Change. I said change. No. Frankie says change. Don't worry, I'm getting this rid of this reverb. 1 second. And that reverb is gone. Hey, how's it going? Welcome to VoiceHead. We're talking about why you should want to sing like Frank Sinatra if you don't have any other vocal goals. If you don't have any other vocal goals, you should want to sing like Frank Sinatra. Okay, the metaphor that I'm going to use here, and this is just to improve your speaking voice. Okay, I love singing hard rock. It's probably counterproductive to my career as a voiceover, actually. If I was more congruent or something, if I just wanted to go for the money in voiceover, I would learn how to croon like Frankie. If you don't have vocal fitness goals, they should be to be able to sing in a Frank Sinatra style. Okay. And that's going to be a lower larynx. We're going to talk about that. Welcome to the Paramount in the 1950s, early 1950s. This, throughout the 40s, this is where Frank Sinatra made his bones. Okay. This is where Frank Sinatra became Frankie the Voice. Quick side note, I'm sure pretty much everybody watching this knows Frank Sinatra. A frightening amount of you don't know the Frankie that made Frankie Frankie. You know, comeback chairman of the board Frankie. This hat is a nod to comeback chairman of the board Frankie. This bow tie is a nod to Frankie, the Voice Frankie. He actually lost his voice in 1952, hard partying, sleepless nights, wildly rigorous schedule. Burned out. Everybody thought he was done. Got dropped by Columbia Records. Now, Columbia Records is the record company where you want to be looking for your Frankie stuff. Did he lack some of the acting chops of his later years? Yeah, probably. Did he lack the life experience that made him kind of like Mr. Tough Guy, Mr. And now for the Yankees, number 4? Of course. You know, some of that wobble, some of that experience. I mean, there's no way young Frankie could have sung My Way, right? That being said, you should be listening to Columbia Records Frankie. This is the Frankie Frankie, okay? Later on is very cool, but more kind of the personality. If we're talking about the voice, we're talking about, late 30s, 40s Frank Sinatra, okay? Yeah, so welcome to the Paramount. I'm not sure. I guess it looks kind of similar now. It's like a Hard Rock Cafe now, basically. My grandmother, probably somewhere around there. She was what's known as a Bobby Soxer. The Bobby Soxers were the Frank Sinatra female super fans. Oh, Frankie! Swooning over very, very skinny Frank Sinatra over here. Right. We know Frankie is, most people my age know Frankie is the more kind of like full figured gentleman chairman of the board, you know, cigar in hand. Um, but this is the Frankie that made Frankie Frankie, right? So anyway, this going back to the kind of the fitness goals metaphor, right? So some of you out there might be fitness instructors. Stick around. Don't do steroids. We'll get to that. If you're a fitness instructor, you probably will like ask somebody like, "Hey, what are your workout goals?" Right? And you know, most guys will kind of like look at their feet and be like, "Oh, you know, I mean," and it's like, okay, so you want to look a certain way, right? Yeah, yeah, yeah. What do you want to look like? And they're like, well, you know, I mean, if I had to choose, I guess I'd say. And they're like, Brad Pitt in Fight Club. How did you know? Yeah, I'm not gay, but how did you know? Yeah, he looks like yeah, like that's yeah, that's pretty much. And I'm bulky, you know. Brad Pitt in Fight Club. I'm not gay, right? Um, and probably just talk in circles like that for 15 minutes, right? But then you can be like, okay, great. So that and then they can translate. Okay, that means like 14-inch. I don't know I don't know what a good bicep is. 20 inches. What's like good but not insane? 20-inch biceps, you know, legs, blah blah blah, chest like big but not like crazy protruding, very low body fat, right? Like 10 sub 10% body fat. Okay, boom. Now you hit your fitness goal and we can measure it and we can track it and blah 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 blah. Okay. So if you don't have some insane fitness goal, like what I'm actually trying to do with my voice is to be like the voice equivalent of like, you know, a guy who wins a strongman competition in a way. It's like not wildly appealing to the broad market, right? Like most people don't go to a personal trainer and say, I want to look like, you know, like Bradley Johnson, whatever, you know, strongman competition winner in the middle of Idaho flipping tires. You know, he's got a giant belly. Maybe you've seen those memes of like, this is the ideal male body. Like, I don't care what you say. And it's like usually kind of a fat dude who's like giant. You know, and there's some truth to that, right? Like, having super low body fat isn't necessarily advantageous to survival, right? It's, you know, having body fat is like actually useful in performing manual labor because it, you know, contributes to your overall body mass and you can use your body weight to perform certain things. Nonetheless, I too would like to look like Brad Pitt in Fight Club, right? So, in other words, me wanting to sing like Axl Rose or, you know, Brian Johnson or whatever, that's like a weird thing. That's not like the mainstream thing. So we're here today is for the normies who just want to, you know, maybe they're not even interested in singing, but they're smart and they see that singing is going to be the quickest, most direct path to getting the most kind of attractive, capable, well balanced, healthy sounding voice you can possibly get. And that's why we're talking about Frank Sinatra. You do this, you'll get that like Cary Grant voice, you know, basically all the guys that, you know, the kind of classical males who, you know, are just very widely kind of effortlessly attractive. This is the way you should be communicating. The larynx is the godfather of style. This little cartilage thing, it's almost the same as the Adam's apple. If you stick around, we're going to talk about the larynx at multiple points in time. But this is the controller of style. The way that I was taught by my teacher, Justin Stoney, no problem sending people to go check out Justin Stoney. His content's fantastic. He creates this like 7 positions of the larynx. And so with Frank Sinatra, we're going to be talking about a -1 larynx or even a minus 0.5 to -1 is kind of the target area for men to have like a broadly sounding attractive voice. And you can even speak in a higher pitch. And I think this is some real magic sauce to communicate in a higher pitch, but with a lower larynx. You know, we can get into some exercises with that. But first, let's actually go to the champion right here. I just found this clip of young Frankie. This might be like among the first times he's ever been on television. But you guys are in for a treat. Here we go. YouTube. Okay. Oh God, where is it? Where is it? Oh my God. People are leaving the channel. Stick around. Don't leave. Frank Sinatra first appearance. What in the hell? I had this so ready to go. Oh, come on. Where is it? Oh, yes. All right. 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 Stick around. I'll also teach you to do a Matthew McConaughey, who, by the way, he uses probably a slightly elevated larynx there, like a plus .2 or something like that. Okay. So now I'm going to screen share, and we're gonna have a great time watching vintage Frankie together and analyzing what's going on. Share. Share screen. Here it is. And we're sharing. Okay. There it is. We are screen sharing. Are we not? Yes, we are. Okay. Uh-huh. And that will go to full screen. Full screen. Watch this.
Thank you, thank you.
I got to talk over it to interject. This is very kitschy. I could skip through all the kitschy stuff. I should do that. I should do that. You guys have stuff to do. You got places to be. Isn't this cute? Isn't this cute?
Sure. Who knows?
There we go.
Who knows?
That is not Frank
I may be
Sinatra.
a star.
Okay.
Not bad.
Not bad.
I would like to teach
Isn't this cute? It's all kind of setting up. There's this thing, especially around this time, where like the people feel kind of like a little bit fake, and then the big star comes on, and they're like super cut down and real. It's always a cute way to create contrast and make somebody pop.
Come on, how about you?
Not me.
Uh-oh, cuck coming through. All right, let's skip ahead. All right. Oh wait, let's intro. Okay. Oh, this is cute. Here we go. All right, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Vintage Frankie. Give it up for Vintage Frankie, people.
He is.
You are?
He's gonna sing.
Oh, by the way, you know Glenn Russell, the famous playwright? He wrote the play we're producing, Godspeed.
Oh, yes. Yes, of course. The one you wrote on that typewriter.
Blah 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 blah.
And you're going to sing for us?
Why, yes. Do you know the verse?
Oh,
Well, I
cute.
don't
Here we
know
go.
enough. I'll play it for you. Take it from the verse.
Glenn, do you sing as well as you write? About the same. Oh, that's fine. Wonderful. Nice.
All right. Now I got to pause it, and you know the deal with clip is showing clips, right? You can't let the thing just run on too long, or they're like, oh, you're not actually doing anything new. Okay, so I want you to pay attention. Of course, how relaxed his voice is, also how relaxed his face is, and just all these kind of like little tiny muscle movements. Yeah, it's just magic. Here we go.
Columbus had more chance than me.
Proximity. Look how far he is from that mic.
Across the sea. At least he thought he knew what he was doing.
Cute.
And I'm in search of something too. Exactly what I wish I knew. Yes, I pursue. But who am I pursuing? Chances are.
You can actually see his larynx is slightly depressed is a weird word to use, but I guess it's like technically accurate. What this does, lowering your larynx a little bit, it creates just a little bit more space in the pharynx, almost like you're gonna yawn. That kind of creates the same soft palate goes up, larynx goes down. There's a clip of Morgan Freeman where he's talking about, somebody's like, hey, Morgan, how do you sound so sexy and cool and mysterious? And he's like, yawn a lot. And that's not bad advice. Although some people get really offended if you yawn. But if you think about just creating more space that goes very, very deep and it doesn't take much. Let's continue.
That I won't find a bride.
Find a bride.
But it won't be because I haven't tried. Come out.
Come on.
Come out.
His mouth opens nice and wide too. Creates resonance.
I know.
This is magic.
I know you're not very far. How I wish you'd hurry.
Put some paper in my pocket.
'Cause I'm inclined to worry. These arms of mine are open, hoping you'll appear. Where are you, dear?
Cute.
Come out wherever you are.
Frankie!
Come out from under that star.
It's very yawny, right? Come out from under that star. Should we throw a little reverb back on there? Can't get enough reverb, right? Do we got any reverb heads out there? Come out wherever you are. Oh no, it went away. What the hell, dude? Oh my God. Okay, let's continue to play this, and I'll fix the reverb plugin.
Yes, and incidentally, mentally, I'm not up to par. So come out, come out, come out, wherever you are.
You were wonderful.
Isn't that cool? Frankie.
I love you.
Shut up. All right. So now that we are back, I tried to have this little napkin sticking out, but this jacket, I still haven't cut the thing. So this, be a little bit more like Frankie. Oh, well. All right. So let us return to not screen sharing. Hey, here we go. So wasn't that nice? I mean, that's like OG Frankie that all the ladies fell in love with. My grandma included. She was a Bobby Soxer. She wore the Bobby socks. She went to, the Paramount, and she's probably in this audience here. Again, so this low larynx thing, I mean, this is going to kind of be one of the keys to Frankie's sound. Now, he also had a ton of elocution classes, and that was very kind of like of the time, excuse me, basically learning to speak a standard, not even standard American, but a mid-Atlantic. So like one of the ones is like change, like most people are like change, right? And change, stuff like that. But again, that stuff is kind of dated. So I'm not saying you should go on a first date and start, throwing these little mid-Atlanticisms in there. I mean, let me know if you're single and that, that goes great to just be like, my car, However, you can absolutely focus on lowering your larynx. And this is not, we're talking about tiny, tiny, tiny movements here. And again, what lowering your larynx does a little bit is it expands the pharynx, which is the largest resonance chamber directly involved in the sound of your voice. So when you create that little extra space right here, it sort of just creates this whole atmosphere around you that becomes very pleasing. And I think that a lot of people, when they hear a sound like this, they feel like this is a person who has space in their life for somebody new, a space in their life for other people's challenges, space in their life. They just, when you hear somebody communicate with that slightly dropped larynx, you naturally start to look at them as a kind of a leader and somebody who can offer comfort and protection. And you can use this low larynx and actually speak rather high, and it still produces the same effect. So I highly recommend doing that. And actually, it's something that I have to think about as somebody who, does all this high larynx, Brian Johnson, shoot to thrill, play to kill, does all this high larynx activity that, if I'm doing voiceover, depending on the kind of, mostly you want that more commercial, that more just pleasing, instantly capturing, garnering rapport sound that comes with a slightly lower larynx. So let's do an exercise right now, shall we? Okay. You can take your hand and put it on your larynx, and you want to get comfortable with your own larynx as any type of voice professional, whether you're a public speaker, whether you are, a voice actor, a singer, a performer, just anybody who's going to be involved in like speaking to a lot of people. This is going to save your life. It's going to save your voice. So get really comfortable. Just touch your larynx right here. Men, you'll have a little Adam's apple sticking out. Ladies, other folks, you might not be able to feel the hyoid bone. Mine is very pronounced. Right. And so you can start to move this both from the inside as well as from the outside. Either one is really quite fine. I actually had a voice teacher. She was a big deal. I think she taught Carol Barnett when I was younger, and she had like pretty long fingernails, and she would like, I think I was working on "Fly Me to the Moon" with her. Fly me to the moon, right? And she would come by with her little fingers with nails on them, and she would dig. She basically did this. And she would dig into the larynx until you sort of start to get a buzz. Now, maybe don't do this at home. This is kind of a weird one, right? I'm just using this as like a hyperbolic example that your larynx is very strong and you don't really need to be too afraid. But I can take my larynx and really start to move it down. And as an exercise, this is not bad to do. Although I am getting a little dry. So you can literally just manipulate it with your fingers, and that expands the pharynx, expands the biggest, most important resonant chamber for the sound of your voice. And then you can do some exercises like this. You could go, let's use the sound glug, like glug 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 glug, and you could sing a simple arpeggio like glug 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 glug, and really just try to expand that pharynx all the way to a -3. A -2 larynx would still be a little bit ridiculous, except not. I mean, this is kind of the principal male and female opera sound would be like a -2 larynx. -2 larynx, very high, a lot of nasal resonance. If you were to talk on an opera voice, it would sound something like this. And I'm not going to demonstrate because I've never sung opera in my life, and it's, going to have to tackle it one day just to be a pure voice head. But anyway, so you can practice that. Glug, 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 glug. Did you do it? Yay! Okay, that's a good exercise. And now just for the opposite.
Take your larynx all the way up.
Take your larynx all the way up
To the top until it starts to squeeze like that. This'll be a +3 larynx. This is like a supervillain in a kid's cartoon voice, right? This isn't the kind of thing you would normally want to be talking like.
Although you can sing that way for, shorter periods of time, it will start to grate on your audience's ears, right? But like a +2, this is +2 larynx. This is your kind of like hard rock sound if you're talking on it. And you'll notice if you go to a rock show and the guys are talking in between songs, they tend to kind of talk up here like this, right? Kind of surfer dude sound, right? That's not what we want either, but we want to get that. Neutral larynx is more or less how I'm talking right now. I might even be a little bit high. If singing on a neutral larynx, this is kind of like your classical musical theater sound, like give my regards to Broadway, remember me to Herald Square. That's like a neutral singing larynx. A little bit lower than that and you get Frankie, baby. And this is a great thing to experiment with. And another thing is when let's say you're in a job interview and you're getting very, very nervous, you're going to notice that your larynx does start to creep up. So if you can like artificially just using your mind, push your larynx down, you're going to end up coming across as like normal, which is great. Or just a little bit on the chilled out, relaxed, yawny side. Again, of course you want to keep your energy up. You don't want your energy to be yawny, but just your vocal physical instrument, if that's got that level of relaxation, that's going to really, really work in your favor. I hope this has been illuminating. Again, larynx, play with it. Some parting thoughts. There's a lot of voice teachers out there who will say things along the lines of like, oh, no, don't sing from the throat. Don't sing from the throat. No. That's so bad. That's, yes, is there like a singing from the throat thing where like, yes, I would be like, oh yeah, he was really kind of singing from the throat, of course. But still, you're using your throat. You got to get comfortable with the instruments that are actually working. I love a good visualization as much as the next guy, the next gal. At the same time, like the science, just visualizing what's happening scientifically is also a great visualization. So why not use that? If you got a better visualization, go for it. But you know, saying like, don't sing from the throat. Don't even think about the throat. Don't think of the pink elephant. You know, it's not going to work, right? You're thinking of a pink elephant. How do I know? Because nobody. It's actually interesting. The unconscious mind cannot process anything in the negative. It can't process negation in any way, shape, or form. You know, this is really, really deep. This is, you know, belongs in another video about like power of attraction, blah, blah, blah. And a lot of that's a little bit bunky, but a lot of it's true. And one thing that's an absolute fact is your unconscious can't unthink of a pink elephant. You have to fill it up with something else, like singing like Frank Sinatra. On that note, we'll catch you next week. Thank you very much. Voice Head!